everyone. Welcome to the Bodybuilding.com podcast here in the executive boardroom today. We're the CEOs for the day. Anyone want to do something completely reckless? Cap implants on the insurance plan, perhaps?
I can. What are they going to do to me?
I'm Nick Coleus, an editor for Bodybuilding.com, and here to my left we have Krissy Kendall, science editor, in her final podcast. She's moving away down under where the weights are in kilos. And she's going to just fall right off the face of the damn earth down on the bottom, right? That's what happens. You go down there, you just fall off. Yeah. But we'll miss her in the podcast. And to my right, we have two familiar faces. The buff dudes, Brandon and Hudson. Hudson and Brandon, who get stopped billing.
We'll do it alphabetically so no one gets offended.
There we go. Or older brother, younger brother.
There we go.
So it depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're YouTube's kings of better understanding of food and fitness and fart jokes.
Yeah, or the clown princes. I mean,
The clown princes.
That's
okay.
humor always sells pretty well, at least for us.
You got to have a little bit. And I like that, as the channel has matured, you haven't abandoned your roots in, a little bit of poop joke.
We try not to change too much. Dumb and Dumber is one of our favorite comedies, so I think that kind of spawned all of our bathroom humor after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from a young age.
the channel matures and we get more immature.
Yeah.
Mature in a relative term. So you guys are hanging out in Boise doing a big project with us, but before we dig to that, I wanted to dig into that. I wanted to chat about what you guys have actually built over the last 4-ish years, because I was watching the very first one this morning, the very first Buff Dudes video, and it seemed to come out somewhat fully formed. Like, I fully expected it to be a total little turd. Shot on a there we go. Shot on a camcorder.
Let the bathroom humor continue.
Yeah,
I love it.
we
love
where
your head's
going.
at.
Yeah, this is nice.
But put me at the moment when this vision sort of came to you.
I'll let Hudson take over that because I feel like he's explained this quite a few times in the past. As you know,
it was 4 years ago.
There
we were both on. We were actually at the gym, so it's fitting, and we were discussing a good way to spend our free time. We're living down in LA at the moment, and sometimes down there you're waiting on other people to give you a go. So we just figured, hey, let's do something in the meantime. So we spent, actually, it's what you said as far as fully formed, we spent a couple months because we love animation, illustration, all that good stuff, graphic design. So we spent a couple months thinking of the name, the graphics. We wanted to have it really fun. That's why we thought of the acronym Buff Dudes, and then it could stand for better understanding of food and fitness. And we really wanted like the Bill Nye the Science Guy, the Steve Irwin Crocodile Hunter, all that stuff we kind of grew up on, we really enjoyed, where people could learn some things, but also they could really be entertained. So that's why we've always tried to keep it really light and funny. And even in the beginning, like with that first episode, we're like, hey, let's just do it over the top and silly so people right away go, oh, okay, this isn't really like, they're not going to be too put off, because I know even in this day and age, surprisingly, people can still be like fitness guys and get a little like, oh. So we just want to let everyone know, hey, it's fine. I mean, even if you don't enjoy fitness necessarily, you'll have a good time, hopefully.
Right. I was just relating to somebody who the other day who doesn't familiar with you guys. I was like, it's kind of like Square One or Bill Nye the Science Guy, but for fitness.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. There you go. You got it.
Square One, man. I love that show. It just reminds me of the music and just there's satire and also like engaging with stuff in culture built into it, just through satire, which I totally dig. Yeah. So when though did you kind of have a moment where you thought, all right, this might actually have some legs?
I think it was nice because it was very organic. I mean, we never had, as far as like the online world goes, sometimes you'll have people that have something really big right away. We've had a few friends, because down in that LA area, you're surrounded by a lot of like creators and everything. And it kind of, they ended up shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, because they would have something big immediately, like millions of views or whatever, and they'd be like, whoa, so this is what it's like? And then they would do something else, and it was just like here. And that wasn't their fault. That's just kind of the way it works. Whereas with us, it was a very, very slow progression. So we were just very happy every time we would get like a new subscriber, a new comment or whatever. It was always like, whoa, people are actually watching this. It was just very exciting for us. And I think it was like after the first maybe 2 years, we looked back and went, oh, wow, we've actually really started to build something. And it's just like fitness with the consistency. We just thought we have to do this every single week. And then you do look back and go, oh, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And how many are there now? How many videos have you made?
300, I think. Yeah.
On a fairly steady cadence, it seems like.
Yeah.
So you haven't ever just, all right, we got to start doing it every day, vlog style.
Yeah, we've never gone there. We've experimented
like
with
quality
it.
over quantity in a sense. We didn't want to go over too much where we're just like every day, we're just, like you said, kind of doing more of a vlog and everyday stuff. And for us, it was kind of like, it's more fun for us to just do entertaining kind of bigger budget stuff, although that's not always the case. Although that's kind of what we strive for sure. Because it's just, to add that entertaining quality, it takes some time to maybe come up with an idea, maybe write a script, and then the actual shooting. And then, of course, Hudson with the editing and stuff like that. It's a lot lengthier than, let's say, just having a camera, and just recording yourself as you're going along your daily activities, So that was kind of the struggle sometimes.
And that was one of the things I said to Nick was watching the videos. It's the quality, like you just said. I'm like, this is really impressive. And so I'm interested to know, you have an idea, the whole timeline. So you map it out, how long it takes to go through that whole process, to shoot it, to edit it, to just do and I know you have different lengths of videos. There's some that are 4 or 5 minutes. That might be like a shorter recipe one or a longer one, like average length it takes you to throw something together.
Yeah. What we find a lot of enjoyment is we love the creative process. We love having a crew. It's not, we love doing stuff by ourselves, of course, but the longer we've done this, the more energy we can inject when we have other people helping along, just like with the Bodybuilding.com crew this week that we worked on with this project you mentioned, is you have those other people in there and they inspire you to just go bigger, go better. And it's a lengthy process depending on, like you said, the project, but it has been getting lengthier and lengthier. So we do every once in a while step back to go, we need to tone it down a little bit because it's getting a little too big, because then too much is riding on them. Where you've spent so much time that with that kind of very shaky online world, it may not really go over as well as you'd hoped. And then you're like, oh man,
we're out 4 days of like doing all this stuff, and we don't get quite as many views as we want, because it could take a day to really hammer down a good idea, write a few synopses, write a few ideas, and then kind of like flesh one out, move on from there. Then actually the shooting process, and a lot of times the editing process, depending on the scale of the video, can take a couple days, if not more. So I mean that the post production sometimes can take the longest, when that's hard. Yeah.
And I feel bad for the Bodybuilding.com crew, because they're going to have their hands full with this one.
Yeah, we went quite a bit.
Hearing already.
Okay, well, the word's already getting out there.
It's like a buff dude's video. It's like, well, good. That's what we would hope.
We have amazing editors who love doing that sort of thing. So this is right.
So is it a fairly smooth running machine at this point, or sometimes you just find yourself scrambling like, oh shit, my life, my professional life, my personal life is riding on this, getting this done in the next day?
Yeah. In the beginning, it was more so for sure, especially because we did work. There's a time when I worked 2 jobs, Brandon worked 2 jobs, and then we were trying to do this as well on the weekends. So, with the social world, as I'm sure many people know, it can eat up so many of your time with all the social media outlets. And our biggest thing is always just making a good video. And sometimes we can really slack on all those other things, like, well, then you got to keep everyone updated on Snapchat or whatever. And it's just like, it gets to you a little bit like there's just too much. So that, I would say, is the most overwhelming part, where we personally just like to be left alone, do a project, and then get it out there.
Yeah, and when you started doing this, maybe there wasn't the same level of pressure to be that social media psycho, to quote one of your...
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
not at all. Yeah, exactly.
That one's been a hit as well.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Smacking it half.
Oh yeah, you gotta give it some life,
Yeah.
But
that was a commentary on others and us as well. I mean, we're not gonna lie. Yeah. So,
but I mean, even back then, there wasn't even as many social media platforms. They've really expanded as it goes along. So it's kind of, it feels like every other week there's a new social media platform that you have to kind of jump on and try to expand and to make sure you're kind of on top of the game and stuff. But yeah, it can be a little much sometimes. But when you love to do it, it's kind of like you just got to remember to do it.
Yeah, totally. I was looking at what your most watched videos are, and number one was, I think, Gym Wildlife, which is pretty silly, gratuitous cleavage. Like it's a much more of a humor video. And then the second one, I think, was like upper body training for teens, which is one that was also featured on Bodybuilding.com, where it's much more instructional. Have you been surprised by like what's resonated, and when you're like, okay, clearly we're speaking to this person really directly?
Yeah, it is, and that's what another thing we've had to also kind of like reel ourselves in a little bit, because we do like, we want to do this and then this and this, and you have to remember, like, there are times you need to streamline it. So people are like, who are these guys? I mean, they're doing a crazy video, then a serious training video. So that one, the teen training, really was nice for us, because I feel that when we are doing a little bit of the more serious educational stuff, it's cool to have someone like a teenager in there with us, because then we have their passion, their they're not so, maybe, I don't want to say jaded, but they're just so used to everything. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. I've done this a million times. And they're just like, whoa, you know, so then that gives us energy like, oh, this is great. So we do enjoy doing that as well, but we just can't stop the silly stuff. I mean, that just gives us like, oh yeah, we just get to go wild. So yeah, I'm glad we can have access to both of those worlds.
Sure. Well, and you guys were spindly teens at one point yourselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always kind of nice to be able to kind of inspire and motivate and stuff. So either whether that be through just a funny, entertaining video or an actual, training video itself. So we try to hit it all, as much as we can.
I think that comes across in the nutrition videos too, because nobody likes to. I was watching one, you're making cauliflower tots or something. It's that's the worst thing ever. And I've tried to make I've tried to do that before and it's just horrible. And I probably won't ever make it, but I'm like, at least it's entertaining to watch. And I think that's the biggest thing, and we've kind of hit on it a few times, is reaching this audience. And in the past, it's instructional videos can be incredibly boring to watch and you just stand or watch someone standing there and doing something. But when you can make it almost theatrical, or it's like you're watching a show now, and you're watching characters more or less, but you're getting the education. Why is this important? What does this do for me? It just takes it to a completely different level. And there's not a whole lot out there that's doing it for anyone, whether they're teenagers, whether they're middle-aged, whether they're older adults.
For fitness in particular, it made me wonder, going back to when you guys started to find your way in fitness as spindly teenagers, not only who helped inspire you to go down that path, but actually see like, okay, this is actually stuff we love. This is fun. It's not just like something I desperately need these biceps. I need, it's like,
we're not like too obsessed with it. But at the same time, it's like we've been doing it for quite a while now as well. And it almost just, we're hoping that people watch it, have fun, but also it makes it fun for us. Because, if you do that same thing again and again, there's only so many ways you can explain how to squat or bench press. After a while, you just have to come up with another way to actually make it interesting, because at least in some kind of way, not only for the viewer, but even us in front of the camera are doing some silly skit about it. So that's always fun. We try to make it fun.
Yeah. Although I think it comes across on your videos.
Yeah, that's good.
Where would you say, so kind of in general, new ideas, where do they come from? Because there's a lot of videos already out there, and you guys have a lot of videos, and you're coming up on over 300. How do you keep coming up with new things? We struggle with this all the time with articles.
It's not true.
Yeah.
Don't give away our struggle. Exactly, no, but you just said it. How many times you come up with saying how to do a squat or what the benefits of a squat are? It's something that still has to be talked about.
Yeah.
You're always going to have a new audience. There's going to be someone who clicks on a BBCom article or clicks on a video. But how do you present it in a new way? I know sometimes we'll see something in the gym, we see someone doing it wrong, and it's like, that's what we need to talk about. Yeah. Or we just hear about it, or someone's talking about it. So I'm always interested to hear how people get their inspiration.
I think you brought up a good point. It's mainly just kind of be aware of your surroundings, pop culture, movie references, anything that's really kind of that can, you can reference to that people relate to. I feel like we try to get as much influence as we can, if not from other people, movies, that's experiences we've had in the past, whatever that may be, but sometimes it's a struggle because, you really have to rack your brain to figure out, how can you present it in a package, which it is not only entertaining, but relatable and informational as well.
Yeah, and there's so many more fitness personalities online than there even was 4 years ago. I mean, every day I was like, whoa, it's just very vast. So we've kind of found to ease back a little bit and go, there's so many great people with so much advice and so much that we're like, we always want to keep the education, of course, but I think we've probably amped up our entertainment even more because we just want to focus on what we do best. We don't want to try to maybe play the exact same game like you guys were mentioning earlier, vlogs. I mean, we're kind of boring guys, I mean, we have the energy and the entertainment for these videos, but then after that, it's just kind of like, all right, well, just, become hermits and begin writing the next one or whatever. So that particular format doesn't work quite as well for us, but other people just kill it. So we try to focus on the entertainment. It's like why we're growing our beards all gnarly right now. We want to do a kind of like a history of fitness. So show it through, beginning with like the Neolithic age and kind of move on. So to just be silly with it. And so people are like, they see characters and they can maybe get a little bit of history in the process. And then, as we said before, it's just very entertaining for us as well.
Yeah, no, and there's room for a total absurdity in there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Most
As long as there's room for that,
That's the
then we're
best
good.
part, yeah.
Like the most recent video that I saw was taking place on a farm. It's like a farm safety video.
Yeah.
And the fitness aspect is totally absurd.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, you have to sort of wrap your brain around the whole concept, but it's fantastic, and it's with your dad as well.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's been so much fun. Yeah. Well, we really base that on, you'll see, and it's not so much anymore, but back in the day, there was so many of those school educational videos, and they're always so dead serious.
Right.
And the monotone voice over it. And so we thought, let's just get wild and just do something that's silly.
Squats
and-
on the hay floors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
excellent.
and I think sometimes too, something like that, it's kind of experimental to see what people's reaction to it, because we'll be doing it and we'll be we're excited doing it, but then we're excited also to see what the reactions will be, because we'll just be like, this is so out of left field for so many people that are maybe subscribe to our channel because they watch maybe one of the kind of more just training videos, and then all of a sudden this comes out and they're like, what the heck is this thing? But and it's always just fun reading the comments sometimes. Comments can be a little
Don't
harsh.
read
I
the,
know.
don't read the comments.
I was about to say they're fun. Yeah.
Sometimes they are.
More
They're
like
actually pretty good.
One.
Yeah, more like soul shattering.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you guys have been doing this for a long time, though. You've been lifting and training for a long time. So I wanted to go back to sort of the dawn of the dudes a little bit. And
Ah, nice.
because-
Future episode.
Hey, there we go. You
Dawn
saved
of the
that.
dudes. There you go.
Dawn of the dudes.
We're gonna see
But I know that your dad was an inspiration. You were kind of working together as an older brother, younger brother, probably too. But but what put us at the dawn of the dudes?
Yeah, definitely. Our dad got it into us for sure. Started hitting the gym about 14. An inspiration for him was Steve Reeves, like Hercules, So we would see little glimpses of that as kids, and like, who is this? This guy looks awesome, this beard and all, that set in the ancient age. So he was working out, and then we would begin to go with him. And I think what really, really got us going is when Brandon was just about to, just turned 19, I think I was 20. We're like, well, why don't we just try to prepare you for a teen training competition? Because it seemed like, the competition wasn't, you turn 20 and then all of a sudden you're in a totally different ball game. So we're like, well, the teenage, I think, might work a little better. So yeah, Brandon got prepared. It was just trial and error. I'll let you explain that, Brennan. Yeah, it was a learning experience.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of one of those things where you see these guys in the magazines, and you kind of see how they look, and you're just like, what's it take to look like that? So I mean, we had already been working out, but of course it was kind of more that just going in the gym and lifting some weights, not knowing what the hell we were doing really. And so pretty much just doing as much research as possible. We cruised the Bodybuilding.com forums and reading up on people's experience. And Hudson was, I think you kind of scouted that out before I did, and you were letting me know as far as the zero carb, kind of thing.
We didn't know.
We had no clue. I mean, come on. We were like, we were still teens at that time. So I kind of did this mini bulk to put as much, weight on as possible.
Is
And
that
kind
the
of
Klondike bulk?
pretty much. That is
yeah.
exactly you.
Klondike
Yeah,
part.
you've done
That
your
was-
research.
As much as we love our dad,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a
His
little
advice
bit, yeah.
was
I was gonna
just-
say,
just
it's
calories.
all
Just
about
calories.
calories.
Yeah,
So I
he's
went to the grocery
yeah,
store
yeah.
and I was cruising the aisles and I found the Klondike bars. Like, well, one, these are probably delicious, but two, they're like 600 calories each. That means if I have like 3 at night, man, that's like, I'll put on some weight real quick, not having any clue of that. Yeah, right. Gains, all about the gains. So I remember doing that for a while and then waking up one morning, and I was like kind of working out or whatever. But waking up one morning and I was getting a little chunky, and I looked in the mirror. I was like, something's not right here. I don't think this is the way to do it.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Massive ice
Pretty
cream,
much,
just-
yeah. They were going right here on my stomach. So I was like, I got to do some more research. So I actually started learning a little bit more about it, and then started doing it the right way, and working out pretty hard. And then went through the competition phase, and it was great. It was a great experience. I mean, probably something I wouldn't do again because there's so much work and a lot of effort. But so it was a great tool to learn how to to learn about your own body and what it takes. And
Well,
stuff.
especially at that time in your life when you're just an anabolic machine,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Do you feel
Yeah,
like there's
thank God.
value for an experience like that for a young man, just like in maximizing that crucial part of his
Oh,
of his
absolutely.
life?
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why we do gravitate towards doing like teen videos. Because I mean, when we were that age, the information wasn't quite as available, other than maybe like Bodybuilding.com. But after that, now in this day and age, with YouTube and Instagram and all this, they have a lot of people look up to. But in the same sense that we kind of hopefully can bring in some of that information to people that are, maybe curious about it or want to get into it, or even if not bodybuilding, at least just a healthy lifestyle.
Did you ever heed the call of the stage?
No, I never did. I saw Brandon compete twice, and it was just like he was saying, it was as much work as it was, and it's very rewarding, don't get me wrong, but I was just always felt very rewarded in other avenues, such as like the production side. That was the whole creativity in that outlet was something that I gravitated towards almost immediately. And in fact, we need to check our username because I think it's like a 2004 account on Bodybuilding.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, your body
old
space.
school. Oh yeah, old school. We had like the pictures, and a lot of the people were very helpful. Like, yeah, we recommend this and that, and we were so
Everyone was
clueless.
great,
Yeah, we're like, oh,
So
all right.
we can go dig up the old Misc comments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we hit that forum up a few times. Yeah, don't look up the comments.
Maybe we'll leave that be.
So now you guys just did a recent video series that was all beards and bulks,
Mm-hmm.
right? How is bulking this far in the game different than the old Klondike bulk back in the day?
Yeah,
Not the same.
Yeah,
I
we're
saw
like,
there's
yeah, whatever.
pizza involved in that. I'm like, that's my type of bowl.
Yeah, pizza and beer. There's always that involved.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
We tried to be as strict as possible, but we're we're around our parents at this point, and mom's home cooking. It's as good as it is. Sometimes it can get a little carried away. She's like, "Come on, here's mama's meatballs," and they're like 1,000 calories or something.
Venezuelan baseball players are notorious for coming back from the off season completely overweight, and they asked one of them, "Why is this?" And he says, "My grandma, man,
know, it's
she
so
makes these
true.
arepas. They're unbelievable."
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
can
we
relate.
have something in common with them for sure. Yeah, mom's always giving us the biggest carb-loaded, meal right before, bedtime. It's like,
And
oh,
you
wow.
don't leave the table without finishing your
Exactly.
breakfast.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
It's right there. What are you supposed to do with it?
I
for
know.
Christ's
She
sake?
slaved over that meal. You
Yeah.
better finish it.
Yeah.
or,
It's not going to eat itself.
Hey. But it's been going great. Yeah, absolutely. So it was kind of new we hadn't done a bulk since probably like our teens. So we were like, I think it'll be really interesting to do that and see how much size we can put on. And it's been going good. But
Done a bulk, like just a straight up what? We're talking 4 months of continuous
It
bulk.
was
much,
about
yeah.
that long.
Really?
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
put on about 20 pounds and tried to put on as much strength as possible, which was a lot of fun. But I think we're ready for a cut. I think it's getting close.
Yeah.
Summer's coming.
Summer's
especially
coming.
here. It's been so nice out.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Finally.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what does your training look like now? Or has it changed a lot, bulk versus you train?
Are big fans of, with like Brandon was saying, with the bulking, we're really focusing on our 1-rep maxes. We hadn't ever really done it, so it's just very interesting for us. So if we really put ourselves to it, how much could we do? So that was interesting. We didn't quite hit maybe, what we wanted to, but that happens. We'll just continue to try to up that. But we're real big fans of, things such as like supersets, just really getting in there, getting it done, never really more than an hour or so. Not a lot of time to sit around and talk. It makes it perfect with us as training partners. So one of us will just hit the exercise and we'll just keep switching out. So yeah, we usually keep the heart rates pretty high and yeah.
It's a lot funner. You get in there, get out. But hypertrophy, I think, is one of our favorites. Implementing supersets or drop sets, just higher energy, higher volume, high intensity kind of stuff. That's what I kind of, we grew up on anyways, because we, after like Steve Reeves and started getting into bodybuilding, of course, the evolution of that is then Arnold and, Frank Zane and Frank Colombo and stuff. Like that's all of a sudden now it's like into the, golden era of the 70s, 80s guys. And that's how they trained, for most of the part. And that's kind of, I remember looking at all the magazines and that's how kind of I learned in the beginning. Whereas like, well, I'll just follow their programs, because they look great. If I worked out like them, I'll look like them. And for the most part, I just fell in love with that training. We both did. And then we kind of just continued on training like that,
But you guys have covered so much ground in these videos too. Like there are on every conceivable type of strength training. There's full body workouts. There are like total minimalist workouts, and there's very specific movements. Do you feel like moving through all of that has influenced your training as well? Because it's easy for somebody to get in a rut that lasts years, where it's like, this is what I do. This is
absolutely.
what my body likes. Like you guys, you find that feeds back into what you're actually doing.
Oh, definitely. We did kind of some body weight stuff last year due to recommendations from the channel and subscribers, which we've also really found that we like because we don't know everything. We don't know how to do everything. So it's nice when we're getting that feedback.
Speak for yourself.
Where it is so nice to get that positive, criticism is great when it's kind of has a point, when it's not just, like your typical YouTube comment of just, whatever you guys suck. But when they actually say, hey, you guys should try this because I think it could benefit you in this way and everything. So we've done stuff such as like a body weight series, which we really enjoyed. Just real big fans of just keeping it so simple. I mean, a lot of my favorite workouts, we had a outdoor backyard gym for a while, which we really loved. I'd love to probably try and build one of those in the future, like half indoor, half outdoor. Because for me personally, it just is motivating and inspiring to me. The real simple things like working out for a little bit, going outside, feeling the sun, jumping in the pool immediately afterwards. That's like what drives and inspires me, just those little things.
Yeah, otherwise it can be super easy to get stuck in the basement, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because you guys have a pretty sweet looking basement.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The ceiling's not too high, though. That really holds you back, yeah.
So tell us about what you've been working on here. My understanding is that this is the 9-week journey to the Goblet of Gains.
Oh, yeah.
The name says it all.
Exactly. Buff dudes and the journey for the Goblet of Gains. Yes. Yeah, cue the angelic kind of,
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm envisioning some 8-bit music. Like this feels like a video game.
Oh, yeah.
Very much
absolutely.
so.
Very inspired by a video game, yeah.
Yeah.
We were huge fans of that stuff, growing up, the original NES and SNES and stuff like that. So, whether it be Double Dragon, Bad Dudes, or, any kind of RPG you can think of, Zelda, stuff like that. So
Not Tetris. This is a Tetris theme.
Tetris
No.
was great. Hey, we had the game. We had the Game Boy.
Everything I know about the
Tetris,
human
yeah.
body, I learned from Tetris. That's why I
Exactly.
got these elbows. Look at this.
Yeah, wrist connected to the elbow, or however it goes. But yeah, so very, very much inspired by the video game. And again, we're trying to implement that real fun, entertaining quality, and the bodybuilding team has just been amazing. I mean, they immediately got kind of what we're about, and yeah, it's been fun.
It's nice when you work with a crew who's right on the same page, where they're saying, "Oh, this is like this," and you're like, "Exactly," So each boss is going to represent a certain style. Like you have a boss that's like superset, another one is steady state cardio, and they each have their own look and feel. So we're trying to get people, hopefully, maybe people who have been doing it for a while and just want something like refreshing, or maybe someone who's never done it and like, oh wow, this is kind of an inventive, nice entry level way to learn about these things without feeling too intimidated. But yeah, it's going to be very silly for sure.
Through the journey, yeah. So
Okay.
it'd be like there'll be kind of 3 phases, or in this case, 3 worlds. The first world is going to have 3 levels, and then you're going to kind of make it through those 3 levels. You're going to beat that world, move on to the next world, and so on and so forth. And then hopefully by the end, and the last world, on the last level, level 3, world 3,
You will acquire the Goblet of Gains.
I was gonna say, like the
Gains.
goal
All
is
the
gains
gains.
here.
Oh yeah.
It's all about gains. And there's a little surprise ending, a little twist at the end. Hopefully
You get to
people
type
enjoy
in
it.
your initials, three letters at the
Three
very
letters.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Oh, that would be
First
awesome.
place.
Dang it. Yeah, there we go.
Z.
See, hey, thankfully
or
I haven't finished
AZZ,
it yet,
I
so
don't
we can add that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Don't give away all the good ideas.
I don't know. I really
Just full of
apologize
them.
if I just ruined
Keep talking.
it.
Keep talking.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
Well, so what's next then after this? Another big cut or any other exciting?
Yeah. Well,
We actually have a live show.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
In June.
What's going into the live show?
Good question.
Guess we'll
This is the
find
We'll
out.
find
brainstorming.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have
What
ideas?
ideas?
Koala
You
sex.
start
Oh, there we go.
talking.
Yes.
Koala-
We'll go with the koala
Koala
sex,
sex.
man. We'll just put 2 koalas on stage and say, there you go.
Start counting to 43.
Everyone count along. Yeah, it's repetitions.
I
are
like
not
it.
for us.
Yeah.
It's a high rep animal.
Gym wildlife taken literally. Yeah,
there we go.
there it is. Yeah, but no, we're gonna try to implement that history into it. So we'll be like cave dudes and all that stuff, and then we'll kind of have like
The
live
Dawn of the
action.
Dudes. I think we're gonna have
Dawn
to
of
steal
the
that.
Dudes.
Yeah,
I know.
That's fine.
There we
Yeah,
go. Thank
yeah.
you. Thanks for that. Yeah, we'll give you credit.
I like it. Okay, so then we can look for it in a town near us. It's going to go on the road, right?
Hopefully,
This will be the
I don't know. We'll see how
experimental
this one
show.
does.
Yeah. And it's going to be in Irvine, June
Yeah.
11th. Yeah, so that'll be the official date. So
Very
we'll,
cool.
the pressure's on to make sure it's a good show.
Yeah, totally. Well, you can also find them on YouTube, of course. You have multiple YouTube channels, right?
Three. Workouts, food, and then just the all in one.
The main dude. Buff
Entertainment craziness.
And then on all the other social media
Yeah.
things.
Oh, that kind of
if they're interested in you rather than in just,
dudes. Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And also on Bodybuilding.com imminently, and we'll link in the description in case somebody smashed their fingers and can't type it in or something.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Those got the nose,
Exactly. Thanks a lot for coming by, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.